Today I want to talk with you. Let's talk about the hottest trend in fundraising, and that is emails. Now, I say it's the hottest trend because I keep getting asked about it, and at the same time, I'm doing several email campaigns throughout the year, and they're very, very successful. So whether you are thinking about starting or trying to improve, this video is going to be very, very important to you because one, I'm going to explain why you should be doing it, and then I'm going to give some practical tips, like 3 or 4, on actually how to do email fundraising or even improve your results. So let's dive right in. So why is email so important and it's trending? 3 reasons in particular, I think. Number 1, it's very easy to collect email addresses, much easier than phone numbers or mailing addresses. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's very easy to communicate with people. Email is being checked about 3 times a day. So on average, somebody's checking their email 3 times a day. Checking a mailbox, once every day, possibly once every 2, maybe even 3 days. And people check their emails and they open their emails a whole lot more. So that's better than direct mail. And also it's better than social media because social media, you're competing with cat videos, marriage pictures, baby pictures, and there's just a stream of flooding in a social media feed. So that's another reason why it's so effective. And the third reason, and I think this really stacks everything up in the favor of email, is that on average, fundraisers, email marketers, people who are just trying to, you see a lot more use of emails, and you might think it's overbearing and it's a little too much. But the reason they're doing that, because on average, people are getting from their email campaigns about 122% return. And that is really, I think it's like 10 times more than anything else, than social, than direct mail. If you go to the link to the bottom, you'll see my article where it outlines a little bit more details on this statistic. But overall, we are recognizing that email is king. So that's why it's trending. Okay, now that you know that email is something that you should be considering doing or reaffirm that you should be doing more of it, I'm just going to walk you through, I think 3 or maybe 4 just simple things that I think you should be looking at with your fundraising via email. I've got my notes right here in front of me, and this is the article that I produce on my website, so go check it out on catholicfundraiser.net. Every week I provide just helpful insight on what I'm doing with my fundraising, how I'm helping other Catholic organizations, and you're going to find it helpful. So the number 1 tip, the first tip, is to be personal. So the days of the classic email newsletter where it's got a lot of pictures, it looks like a newspaper, that is way gone. Don't do that anymore. What you want to do is you want to be writing as if you're speaking to a friend, and you want to speak in the first person. So that is tip number 2. Number 1, my apologies. Number 2 is you want to use email regularly. So that means don't just use it sporadically when you have time. Don't just use it annually or biannually or quarterly. You've got to use it on a regular basis, at least once a week or twice a week. Now you might think that's a lot, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to bother people, but people have found that getting an email on once a week, that means once every 7 days, is really not that much because they're just getting to the habit. And if they don't want to read it or open it, they don't have to. And if they do feel that it's intruding way too much, they're just unsubscribed. But you're going to find there's a small percentage of unsubscribers. And if you're worried that you're going to lose people, well, let me just tell you the facts. If they're not willing to even open an email, they're probably not going to donate. The third piece of advice that I have for you is to not always ask for money. I think pretty much the majority, I've subscribed to a lot of email lists in the Catholic world because I want to know what people are doing and how they're communicating. And I don't think there's a single one that doesn't ask me for money every time. So my recommendation is don't ask for money all the time, for the simple reason that, they're almost like, how to describe it? They're like that family member who is always asking for $5. Hey, do you have $5? I got myself in a situation. Can you get me out? It's almost like there's never enough. And I understand that Catholics are doing great work and with more money they can do more. I'm completely for it. However, you can't be always asking for money all the time. So it's this concept of stewardship. So take time to change the conversation and learn about what the other person is interested in and deliver on that. So it's not just about, hey, here's a good piece of advice, or here's what we're doing. By the way, can you donate? The fourth piece of advice, and this is the most important, is you want to be both emotional and logical when you do ask for money. So this is really important because, yes, emotions trigger action. However, emotions don't trigger continuous action. And this is just psychologically how we're wired, if you could call it that, where yes, you can get somebody's attention, you can get a donation if you're emotional, but if all you do is keep pounding with the same emotion over and over and over again, it's going to be quite draining. What you want to do is you want to explain your problem emotionally, but you want to present your plan to solve the problem with logic. That way, when people see that you have a problem that you're trying to solve and you're trying to get their attention, but you also have this plan that you've laid out in a logical step-by-step approach, people will donate and they will continue to donate. And that's the objective, is you don't just want one-off donors, you want regular, continuous donors. So I hope that's helped. Leave a comment, please leave a comment below of what you thought, how you're using email, and also share this with a friend, share this with a Catholic organization that you think would benefit from this content. So God bless you and see you next week. If you enjoyed this video on fundraising, make sure to subscribe. Right over there, it's going to be somewhere. Also, if you just enjoyed the scenic views of Catholicism in France, make sure to subscribe as well, and just follow me along on learning how to fundraise and seeing the beauty of Catholicism in the south of France. Cheers. Santé.